Hello everyone and welcome to a rare video where it's just me talking to you. It's very rare for Protless players to have videos like this. It's funny though because I did do one recently for my 400th video. But this video is about Jedi Survivor and primarily Jedi Battle Scars, the book that came out as a tie-in to it. Now, I did do the first half of this video, so to speak, on my For What It's Nerd channel, discussing the book itself and what I felt the book did great, what the book didn't do as well, and all that. This is more of a factual. This is what you might see in Jedi Survivor as it comes out in the next month or so. So really, what I was picking up from the book is that there's a big emphasis from Sia as regards Jedi artifacts, and this was very important to me because I felt like that was something that was very much shown in the trailers we've seen so far. Sia seems to be building some kind of archive. I think it was on Bogano. It looked like Bogano. And I think that's going to be a very big part of her character in the Survivor game. And I think potentially you could see that as a sort of set of quests where you go and find stuff for Sia, you find artifacts and bring them back to her, potentially. One such artifact did actually show up in the book. It was called the Circle of Suresh. That was a link back to KOTOR, which was very interesting. I didn't quite know about that while I was reading it, but the name sounded familiar from Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it traced back to KOTOR, funnily enough, which was really fun to see. And we always love a little bit of a link, a little through line from our games, especially if they're legends. But that's beside the point. I do think the Circle of Suresh could show up in Survivor. Whether or not it does is a different story, but I imagine it could be very much an Easter egg that's in the room of the kind of the library that Sia is procuring. Another interesting one is that Grease actually loses an arm in this book. I don't know if he'll be getting a cybernetic in the game. I don't even know if it was referenced maybe in the book because I haven't fully finished it yet. But he does lose an arm in this book. And yeah, to the fifth brother as well, which is very interesting. I do wonder if the fifth brother will show up in the game. It'd be very good if he did. But yes, very interesting. I think that's probably one of the biggest character developments in this book that doesn't happen in the games as well. Cal gets a few scars from the fifth brother as well. Otherwise, Merrin seems to have this waning connection to the Force in this book. I wonder if that's something that we're going to kind of see happening in the game a little bit. I don't know if so, because it seems like she gains it back a little bit, a bit of her mojo back later in the book. But yeah, that was very interesting for sure. I did also think for a bit, and this was sort of an interesting plot point in the book. There was this item called the Shroud that they were trying to find, which was like this stealth technology. I did wonder, it sounded very much like they were setting up for Cal having some new technology going into the game, but it seems that it was all theoretical and actually not going to be used. So that was a little bit of a missed point for me personally. I would have liked to see something like a stealth field be introduced for Cal as a different way to play the game. Adding a little bit of a stealth element to the game would have been kind of fun, actually. But otherwise, I think really this book didn't actually give us a lot of insight into the crew ahead of Survivor, which is okay. I understand it needs to have a level playing field as compared to, you can't quite go out there as much as a normal book would, because the idea is that you're trying to set up / spin up a game. I will say though, if anyone is interested in this book, this is not a Cal heavy book. It does focus on the other members of the crew as well, and I don't think always the best of its ability, but it does show where these characters are heading. It does show where these characters want to go next. Cal is about dismantling the Empire. Sia is like focused on the Jedi's future, and Grease kind of wants to get out of the game. So maybe that's something that we'll see come up in the future. Also, Merrin, she wants revenge, as she did in the last game, so she hasn't changed too much in that regard. Overall, again, like I say, this book is something that you can kind of miss, which is sort of predictable for tie-in media to a game, but I thought it was very relevant to just kind of let everyone know what might be of interest going into Jedi Survivor. Thank you guys, as always, and I'll see you in the next one.